Before we begin, Mr. Carney would like to acknowledge someone that they've lost here at the DD. So, Mr. Farley, if you would.
Yeah, before we say a prayer, we want to recognize, we have a longtime employee that suddenly passed away Monday. His name is Jim McCaleb. He worked in our AG program, has been here for 20+ years. A special fella, is one of those unique, and this is the best way I know how to explain. 86 years old, still working 2 jobs because he just had so much energy. So it was a very sudden passing, and we hate for that for his family. Just want to recognize them, and if you would, if we say our prayer, if we just remember their family, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Farley. I'm going to ask Mr. Mayor Lowry if he would open us with a word of prayer, and then we'll do the pledge of allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today, Lord, and we do lift up the family of Jim McCaleb, and I just pray that you'd reach down and give them peace, comfort, understanding, and wisdom and insight to deal with the future without him, Lord, and allow them to know the assurance that in Jesus Christ there will always be a reunion time in the future. Father, as we stand here before you as leaders of communities, I pray that you will give us wisdom and insight, that we make decisions for this community, in this region, in this area, in this state. Lord, we know that communities are made of people, and people matter to you, Lord. So I pray that we just focus on you and allow you, through your Spirit, to reach down and touch us and guide us in our decisions. And Father, what we have not, provide for us, and what we are not, I pray that you make us. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Thank you, Mayor. If you would stand with me, and we're going to do the pledge of allegiance. If you would salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, you may be seated. Thank you all for being here today. We'll begin by asking Miss Shirley if she would to call the roll.
Greg Mitchell, Andy Duggan, Dale Reagan,
Here.
Luke Collins, Alan Foster,
Here.
R.J. Crawford, Matt Adcock, Josh Miller, Jimmy Johnson,
Here.
Harvey Stowers, Randy Haney,
Here.
Lloyd Williams, Steve Jones,
Here.
Jerry Wilmore, Stephen Barlow, Curtis Hayes, Stephen Bilbrey, Sam Gibson, Randy Porter, Lauren Wheaton,
Here.
Jeff Mason,
Here.
Stephen Babcock, David Sullivan,
Here.
Lisa Farmer, Terry Bell,
Here.
Ryle Chastain, Marvin Musk,
Here.
Kenny Robinson,
Here.
Jerry Lowry,
Here.
Representative Cameron Sexton, Senator Sean Paul Bailey.
All righty, we have a quorum. All righty, next thing on the agenda would be the approval of the consent agenda. Should be executive meetings from April 12th meeting, also the lease agreement between the Oklahoma Development District and the Oklahoma Human Resource Agency.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion by Mayor Jones to approve. Got a second?
Second.
Second from Mayor Lowry. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, next thing would be the financial report by Ms. Ginger.
The report that you have in your packet and that was emailed out goes through April 30th. Development District had revenues in excess of $6.7 million, expenditures of $7.1 million, which results in a program match of $415,043. We have our matching our program revenues of $501,000, and then we had non-grant related expenditures of $42,000. So when you net out your revenue and your expenditures, we had a net increase of $44,370. Have any questions?
I'll make a motion to accept the financial report.
Got a motion by DW to accept the financial report as given. Second by Mayor Mason. Any questions or comments about this? All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you, Ms. Ginger. Next would be the guest speaker, Mr. Farley.
I don't think he ever made it today. He had reached out, and expressed interest in coming, but,
Mr. Evans' band, right?
He was gonna talk about the brownfield program.
No, that's cool, it'd be good, it's interesting, maybe he'll show up here, and we'll give, we can just put him in when he gets here, can't we? All right, thank you. Next thing would be the UCDD loans. We have a couple of loans. Ms. Megan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to introduce you our new loan officer, Mindy Trammell. So she's just been on with us a couple of weeks. Hope you all help me make her feel welcome. She comes to us with a banking background, primarily on the mortgage side, but she's got 2 loans that she's gonna present to you today.
Morning. I'm looking forward to working with your communities to help your small businesses grow. All right, so first up today, we have Jackson Kayak. Jackson Kayak is a kayak manufacturer out of Sparta. They are a leader in elite kayak manufacturing, serving both the whitewater sector and the kayak fishing niche. They increased their offering several years ago. They now offer a fishing line, coolers, and kennels, and recently diversified into contract work, making other plastic products such as slides and traffic barriers. Their proposed project is they're seeking a loan amount from us for $350,000 to purchase and set up a new roto-mold oven. Their total project cost is $850,000. Our portion would be $350,000 at a proposed rate of 7.5% over 10 years, which would be an estimated payment of $4,155. They would also request $300,000 from the White County Industrial Development Board. The majority of these funds, $750,000, would go for the purchase of the new oven. The other $100,000 would be for the setup of power source for a total of $850,000. These sources, as I said, the $350,000 loan from us for 7.5% over 10 years, $300,000 from the White County IDB, and then a borrower contribution of $200,000. Their collateral would be the new roto-mold oven, their existing oven, which they just recently have rebuilt, and they are giving it an estimated value of $320,000, but it's most likely worth, the cost was worth about 2 times that. Our position would be split with the White County IDB, be about a 54-46 split. UCD is being asked to fund being asked to fund 41% of the total project. In your packet, there's a loan overview. There are some financials from Jackson Kayak, their tax returns. They have about 13 to 16 million in revenue annually, 10 million in assets, and a positive net cash flow. Are there any questions?
Any questions for anybody? DW, you got anything you want? I know it's over in your neck of the woods. I will say this before we go too far. These did go through, both of these loans went through CAIC, and were sent out of there. They approved both of these to be sent to the executive committee. Dean Wayne?
Well, I've been working with them for quite a few months on this loan. They're looking just to kind of diversify more because the kayak business is kind of seasonal and keep the employees on year round. I'm definitely in support of this. Matter of fact, I will make a motion for the second.
A motion by Dean Wayne to approve and a second by Mayor Foster. Any questions about this? It's a good loan.
Having been involved early on in my days at White County, we did the initial loan along with CAIC. This operation started in a 2-bay old service station in Rock Island, Tennessee. It has grown to be one of the largest employers in White County. And I tell you, it's a showcase for what a little bit of investment does. So.
How many employees?
Right now, they're around 70, and hoping to probably add another 15.
And then you premier guy. Top notch. All right, got a motion and a second. Any other comments about this loan to Jackson Kayak? If not, I'll ask Ms. Sherry to call roll.
Dale Raven.
Yes.
Alan Foster.
Yes.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yes.
Randy Hattie.
Yes.
Steve Jones.
Yes.
Sam Gibson.
Yes.
Lauren Whedon.
Yes.
Jeff Mason.
Yes.
David Sullivan.
Yes.
Terry Bell.
Yes.
Marvin Lewis.
Yes.
Deanie Robinson.
Yes.
Jerry Lowry.
Yes.
All right, loan number 2, go ahead.
Number 2 is to Highlands Cabinets. owned by Jason Beatty and Justin Hill. They are a cabinetry and specialty wood production finishing facility located here in Cookville. Their focus is primarily on residential homes, and they've recently moved into marine interiors. They offer custom cabinets, other cabinet lines, including some affordable lines, countertops, and their new custom marine interior products such as teak steps. They are seeking a loan in the amount of $400,000 to fund current and future growth. Their total project cost is $550,000. Our request would be $400,000 at 7.5% for 10 years with an estimated monthly payment of $4,748. There are possible future loan opportunities here, as they originally came to us with a request for $500,000. But we worked with loan committee, who felt more comfortable with the $400,000 loan amount at this time, with the option to do another loan as we see their revenues increase from their new projects. They will be using these funds to hire a marketing firm. They're going to complete a showroom in their facility, which was recently purchased. They would like to hire an operations manager to make processes more efficient. And they will be purchasing equipment such as a CNC machine, which they currently have to outsource. So when they get their own machine, that will immediately start saving them money, being able to do that in-house. They are asking for $400,000 from us, and their contribution of company funds would be $150,000 for the total project cost of $550,000. We would be taking a second on their building and additional land at 1975 Browns Mill Road. First on the new equipment, second on their existing equipment, and the personal guarantees of Jason Beatty and Justin Hill, who have very strong personal financials. In your packet, there are tax returns and personal financial statements for both of the owners, and tax returns, business financials, equipment code quotes, and the appraisal on the building, along with their market strategy for Highlands cabinets. Any questions?
Any questions about this loan to Highland?
Your opinion on the cabinets, you gave your opinion on the cabinets.
Well, we've actually worked with them before, we've used their cabinets, so yes, I can attest that they make very good cabinets, yes.
What kind of cabinet did they make this week?
We have some lovely navy blue ones that they did for a renovation for us, yeah, but they do quality work, you know, obviously very involved in the community around here in Cookville, so.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Any questions? If not, I got a motion by Mayor Jones to approve. Get a second from Mayor Johnson. Any other questions about this loan? This looks like a good loan to do. If not, we'll ask Ms. Sherry to call roll.
Al Reagan.
Yes.
Alan Foster.
Yes.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yes.
Randy Hetty.
Yes.
Steve Jones.
Yes.
Sam Gibson.
Yep.
Lauren Whedon.
Yes.
Jeff Mason.
Yes.
David Sullivan.
Yes.
Terry Bell.
Yes.
Marvin Lewis.
Yes.
Kenny Robinson.
Yes.
Jerry Lowry.
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next thing would be our action items. First thing would be the 2024 budget.
Everybody was emailed a copy of your budget packet. Each packet included an individual budget for each program within the development district. I'm gonna go over the consolidated budget sheet. The estimated revenues for the development district for fiscal year 23-24 would be a little over $9.8 million. Expenditures would be a little over $10.2 million, with a program match of $450,408. To the right of the sheet, you will see our program or matching revenues. This consists of our CDBG revenues, our state appropriation, our dues from our cities and counties, and interest that we earn on our checking accounts, and then a miscellaneous other revenue. And below that, you have your non-grant related expenditures, which includes supplies, travel, meetings, and another category. If you net out your revenue of your match requirements, this is a balanced budget for fiscal year 23-24. Anybody have any questions?
I will add one thing. We do believe that we received additional state appropriations. We have not received that dollar amount yet. It will probably be somewhere around $100,000. That is a one-time appropriation that the General Assembly gave us, as well as the other development districts. There's a formula model that they're trying to develop So we don't know what that dollar amount is yet, so, we will have a little additional money coming in that we don't have recognized, we don't know what to put in there yet.
And this does include a 3% cost of living raise for employees.
3%. We want to make sure we got that.
Yeah.
So last year, in case, someone's wondering, we did a pretty hefty stab at raises at the development district and at HRA, to increase. And, so this year, they just went with a 3% across the board.
The only major thing we've got, and of course, the building here falls under our nonprofit, Cumberland Regional Development Corporation, but ultimately, these programs will cover the cost. We are planning on, we've received, I don't think have we bid out the parking lot, but we've got estimate. We're gonna add additional parking spaces, around 40 to 45 additional parking spaces. And at that time, we're gonna go ahead and seal the parking lot and get it all, taken care of from that standpoint. So that is our major plan of action for this coming year from the building standpoint.
Any questions about the proposed budget for 2024? If not, I'm going to entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Got a motion by Dale Reagan,
Second.
second by Mayor Wheaton. Any other comments about this? All right, Ms. Sherry, if you would call roll.
Dale Reagan,
Yes.
Alan Foster,
Yes.
Jimmy Johnson,
Yes.
Randy Haddix.
Yes.
Steve Jones,
Yes.
Sam Gibson,
Yes.
Lauren Wheaton,
Yes.
Jeff Mason,
Yes.
David Sullivan,
Yes.
Terry Bell,
Yes.
Marvin Luss,
Yes.
Kenny Robinson,
Yes.
Jerry Lowry.
Yes. Motion passed. Thank you, Ms. Ginger. Next will be work plan. Mr. Farley's going to present that to us.
Behind the budget, you'll see our 23-24 work plan. Now, I know this is a little odd format to put in, but that's what the state requires us to do, to submit to them. My main question for you is if there's anything that we're not doing that you need us to do, now would be the time to point us in that direction. We would certainly build that in and include that work into the study. Otherwise, this pretty much covers everything we're currently doing.
Any questions about this? Looked at it the other day, seemed good to me. If not, I entertain a motion to approve the work plan. A motion by Mayor Mason. I got a second, Mr. Stout. Not Mr. Stout, Farman. Sorry. I'll get in trouble here in just a minute. Any other questions for this, comments? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Aye. Moving on, before I get more trouble. Meeting date.
Yeah, the last one, Sherry was going ahead and plotting out for the meeting dates for 2024, and noticed that the June meeting will fall on the new state and federal holiday, Juneteenth. So, we will be closed that day. Question we have, would you prefer moving to a Tuesday, the Tuesday before, or the Thursday after? Or we can move a week if you prefer that.
Do we care?
Tuesday before.
I agree. We may decide to take the rest of the week off. That's pretty doubtful, but it could.
Okay, so we'll just move it to Tuesday.
Tuesday before. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
That works.
Program updates, yeah.
I've got Tyler Asher and Aaron Lay, if they would come sort of give a quick overview of their trip to Select USA. Select USA is an event that we go to pretty much every year, or have been involved in. It's an international recruiting conference. It's put on by Economic Development Administration, and these two fellows had the opportunity to represent the Upper Cumberland, so take it away.
Good morning. My name is Aaron Lay, Economic Development Planner here. As Mr. Farley said, we had the opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C. Earlier this month, or last month, to attend the Select USA Investment Summit. Me and Tyler were two of 4,900 attendees. It's a very large conference. 83 international markets were represented there, and 55 states and territories. An overview is just a 4-day trade show event that showcases opportunities for investment prospective companies into the United States. And so it's kind of broken down into two different buckets, one being a more structured type conference where we got to hear from the Department of Commerce and the Secretary of Commerce, and also some panels of different governors and active leaders in the economic development field. And then the other part of that, which we think we got a lot more value out of, was a trade show type setup where different companies from across the globe can come through and meet with individuals from different states and learn about opportunities from all of the states in America. And so we've got just a couple of pictures. This is just more of a picture book than a presentation for you. But this was what our booth looked like for Tennessee. So the Department of Economic and Community Development kind of headed up this operation of putting a booth together in the trade show. That's Tyler and I with a lady from the Nashville Chamber and Yumi that works with the TNECD in the Japanese market. And so TNECD actually has 5 international offices across the globe to where they can kind of be boots on the ground in terms of recruiting foreign industries and working really heavily for foreign direct investment. We had the opportunity to actually grab lunch with 3 of those individuals and talk about the Upper Cumberland region, and really start to try to garner those prospective industries that maybe fall outside of what the state is looking at attracting very heavily. So we're talking 15 to 25 job operations that maybe the state overlooks sometimes in trying to recruit to the state. So Tyler and I and Megan worked together to put together a regional overview of all of the publicly controlled sites. So we had sites from the majority of your communities that we were able to compile together in one document and provide to those foreign direct investment individuals that are working for the state. And they now have a snapshot of everything that's available in our region. We're currently working 3 projects, active projects that came from that initiative, and we feel pretty hopeful that we'll at least land one of them. You all know how big of a long game that process is.
We took a little different approach with our FDI partners that are across the world. We went to playing a little more small ball, so like he said, those 15 to 20 jobs that will kind of fly under the state's radar, we know those are perfect for a lot of our communities that we work in. So we're working on the relationship with those FDI partners that are in Germany and Japan, South Korea, to work on finding those small projects that will be great for our more rural communities. So that's something we are really actively working with those partners, and why it's important that we go to events like this so that we can continue to foster those relationships with those people across the world.
We did make some promises that
Was there a fall right there, or what?
So that was, I'm tall and everyone else is short, so I try to get a little
I thought you done a good job adjusting yourself.
See?
We did promise some of the FDI individuals that if they do land,
They can be county mayor for the day.
Yeah, they're gonna be county mayor for the day, so I hope you guys are okay with that, just for the day. Yeah, you can take, if you wanna give them, the title for the whole week, you can.
Just don't matter, get the funding.
I'll go through a couple more photos, just us interacting with prospective companies and just kind of give you a feel for what we were doing up there in the trade show setting. Another thing that we really had a unique opportunity to partake in, we were invited to the Irish ambassador to the United States residents. So this is the Irish ambassador, her name's escaping me, Gertrude. I can't remember her
It was
last
really
name
cool because
right
we
now.
got to interact with her one-on-one for probably 4 or 5 minutes, just to talk about things. So that was another highlight.
Yeah, a lot of Irish companies were in attendance that night as well, and so we got to speak with many of them about the Upper Cumberland region and exchange contacts. There were different leaders.
No, wait, you got to tell the real story. So if you don't know, on this picture right here, Aaron's leaving, a couple weeks? Last day. So this is the governor of Massachusetts. While we were there, Aaron cornered the governor of Massachusetts with their security detail and said, "Hey, can you make a phone call for me?" And then 2 weeks later, where'd you get accepted to?
Got into Harvard Law School.
So, So it was cool, we did get to meet the governor of Massachusetts, that was literally the first thing he did ask her about. She said, unfortunately, they would probably not take my phone call because I tried to get in there and they didn't even take me, so. It was really cool to meet her. Yeah.
She was really nice, and the moral of the story is that there were, various different governors and other leaders that were in attendance that night. We were honored to be among them. And then the following night, we were invited to the Japanese ambassador to the United States residence, and we got to meet with him very briefly. And Japan is actually our top market for the state for foreign direct investment. We see a lot of automotive suppliers and a lot of activity with electric vehicles that are starting to gear up in the state. So it was really nice to get some face time with him and talk about the Upper Cumberland and how great the communities are. And this was kind of a snapshot of the state team that we had there, people from the Memphis Chamber and down in Manchester, Coffee County, and Knoxville was represented as well. So really enjoyed the trip, and we really think that we got a lot of value out of it, and hopefully we'll be able to land some projects and continue to strengthen those relationships as we move forward. That's what we've got.
Tyler, did you get to eat at Bert and Ernie's or?
I did eat at the main lobster place, we ate there 3 times.
I was gonna say, Tyler had three or four lobster rolls.
No breakfast?
Oh, we ate breakfast.
Tyler
We didn't get to
didn't
go to
skip
Bob
a
and
single
Eats.
meal.
That's it, Bob and Eats.
Bob and Eats, no.
Bob
We
and
were in
Eats.
Maryland, we weren't in Virginia this garden. But great trip, grateful that we got to go and represent Upper Cumberland, so thank you for letting us do that.
Obviously, Tyler did already mention about Aaron leaving us, and tomorrow your last day, Aaron.
Friday.
Friday, he will be sorely missed. Aaron has done an excellent job, and we congratulate him on his big accomplishment. Aaron is going to do big things in life. I truly believe that. I think we'll see his name in a lot of high places before too long. So I will add Madeline McLaughlin, if you would stand up. Madeline, we brought her on board. She started yesterday. She's going to try and fill Aaron's shoes. So hopefully she's not applying to law school anytime soon. Let's see if we can keep her a little bit longer.
Definitely in good hands. I appreciate the opportunity to work with you all.
Tommy Lee's got some updates.
Thank you, Mr. Farley. Good morning, members of the board. Just wanted to go over a couple of things from the Department of Planning and Community Development we feel like you guys should be made aware of. The first thing is the Broadband Ready Communities Adoption Ready program. And so what this is a certification designated by the State Department of Economic and Community Development for communities that pass a resolution supporting broadband deployment. And so that's designed to remove administrative local barriers to deploying broadband. And so essentially that's not necessarily the installation of broadband infrastructure, because I know a lot of our local communities here are pretty built out when it comes to broadband. So what this grant will allow for local communities to apply for what they call digital adoption funds in up to $100,000. And so it's going to be an 80-20 match. So $100,000 would essentially, you could have a project up to $120,000. 100,000 grant, 20,000 match. There's short applications describing county broadband adoption priorities. And so things that are eligible under this grant application would be if you wanted to buy laptops for your citizens to be able to have doctor's appointments, or if you wanted them to be able to come in and they could even take classes or work remotely, things of that nature. And then also if you wanted to have public Wi-Fi on your downtown square, that's something that you could do. So things like that, like I said, it's for opportunities for citizens to have access to technology that they wouldn't normally have. And so in order to be able to apply for this grant, you have to pass a resolution saying that you support this program. We have 9 of our communities, or 9 of our counties, that have already adopted this resolution. And I've spoken to the ones that are here that have not adopted it yet, so we do plan on sending them that adoption, or that resolution, hopefully help them get adopted, and so they can apply for this grant. And so just kind of a timeline that we can be looking for is that the grant application will open in August of this year. And applications will be due in the fall, and then December is when they're going to make the announcement of those awards. And so if you have interest in what I kind of described up here, then just please, we'll be reaching out to you to see if you're interested. And for our city mayors, you can apply, but it must be through the county. And so just make sure you get with your county executive or mayor and let them know that you're interested in this program. Yes, sir.
Correct me if I'm wrong, this is not a competitive, they have allocated out.
That's the
They've
way I understand it.
100,000 allocated out to all 95 counties, so it's not gonna be a competitive thing. If you go for it, you are gonna get that.
And I think your co-op can help you do that, because I've got 3 spots I'm interested in. We already have it downtown. Twin Lakes did that many years ago.
Yeah. So if you want to do public Wi-Fi, the way I understand it, half of your allocation can be for public Wi-Fi.
That's correct.
So up to $50,000. All right. Any other questions on that? I do have a couple more updates.
That's a good one.
Okay. Next is going to be just a brief update about the State Water Infrastructure Grant, or your TDEC ARPA funds that some of you will be getting ready to get going with. So if you haven't signed your contract yet, that should be priority number 1. If you haven't done that, just make sure you get with whoever your administrator is and make
What
sure
if
you
you
get
don't
that
have
contract
it?
signed.
What if you haven't got your contract?
Then we need to get you a contract. So be getting on that. If your contract is signed, then the next thing that we're going to be doing is making sure that your procurement for your engineer is valid. And once that happens, you need to get those engineering agreements in. And so once you get the engineering agreements in, next thing's going to be the submission of plans and specs, get them approved by TDEC, and then we're going to be ready for construction. So that's kind of what we're looking at in the short term. Next, I just wanted to give you an update on Wish You Were Here. I believe that we are on episode 5, and that is going to be airing June 29th at 7 p.m. Our locations that we're going is Isha Foundation in Warren and Van Buren counties, Grinder House Coffee in Cumberland County, Farmer Storehouse, which I believe is in White County, Tuscany Inn, which is in Smith County, and Waterloo, which is on the Overton-Putnam County border. So be sure and tune in again June 29th at 7 p.m. And then finally, for our city mayors that are here today, we are going to be hosting a city mayors retreat, which we will be talking all things incorporating municipalities. We're going to be having that on August 11th. That'll essentially be an all-day thing. We're going to be sending out save the dates very soon. And this is for mayors, but also for city administrators and any other key staff, city reporters, anyone that you feel would need to be here at that. And we're just going to be talking about issues that are important to you guys. So we'll be sending out things regarding that very soon. Any other questions?
When did they film Waterloo?
A couple of weeks ago, maybe?
You want to make sure it wasn't boogie.
No, certainly was not. Certainly was not. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. We needed a line. Thank you, Tom. All right, Mr. Farley.
Moving on to the executive director report, the only thing I wanted to sort of touch base on, we have applied for, of course, we're applying for grants all the time, and from the substance abuse standpoint, I want to sort of update you, because we feel like we're in good position. We may be receiving funding to do an Arise plan grant, which those are through the Appalachian Region Commission, and they are multiple states. And we have been working with ARC and with the Tennessee Chamber of Commerce and a couple more chambers of commerce across about 5 or 6 states. And we think that we're probably in a pretty good state. They're starting to put our work into the software package that does that. So that's usually a pretty good sign that we've not received anything official, but when they start entering into the software, that usually indicates that we're in the progress of having that happen. That is a planning grant that will last probably 6 months to a year, basically setting up to work with employers to create a recovery-friendly workplace. And like I said, we're partnering with, in Tennessee, we'll be partnering with the Tennessee Chamber of Commerce, to help implement that across the state of Tennessee as well as other states. That leads into the opioid money. I just wanted to touch base just quickly, sort of what we're looking at doing. We've been, looking at the applications for the state money. I know that you're dealing with the local money, just sort of, so you understand where we're coming from and what we're looking at doing. We're putting together an application that will, hopefully secure certified peer recovery specialists in all 14 counties. Our goal is to try and put at least 2, a male and female, in each of the 14 counties. Depending on what that works out, we're gonna try and get at least 1 in each county. We're not sure what that full grant will look like, but our goal is to try and put those things in place over a 3-year period and try and get those individuals in place, working in, and our goal is to embed them in nonprofits in all the 14 counties that's doing the opioid work. So they would be overseen by our clinical staff in Cookeville, but they would be working through the nonprofits locally in each one of the communities. Our goal is to try and put that framework in place and start building some momentum in letting them, you have somebody in each of the counties that's working specifically on trying to better that situation. And what my goal is trying to document that. We're obviously talking with Tennessee Tech to sort of do some research along to show, to try and determine if it works or it doesn't work, what we're endeavoring to do. And we believe it will have a huge impact. My ask for you, and we've not, I know all of you have received funding, we've not requested a penny from any of you, and don't intend on doing that. Our ask would be, as we build our program, looking at year number 4, if we can show that we put in place a program that works, maybe year 4 or 5, the counties would take some of their money and look at putting into that. After we put together data, we've been able to show what's happening, and try and show some impact of that. I know each one of you have a lot of your local nonprofits, your local groups that are coming to you for funding, and you need to take care of them for the first 3 years at least. And then we can see if we can put together a bigger program that you would like to buy into long term. So that's sort of what our goal is moving forward. That application, we feel like that process will open up in August, so that'll be probably after our next meeting, so I want to go ahead and give a little update from that standpoint. Any questions on what direction we're heading? Are y'all spending any of your opioid money yet?
I am, a little.
Okay. Well, we had a meeting, we hosted a meeting a couple of weeks ago. Michael, how many CPRSs do we have from across all 14?
30.
Yeah. We had roughly 30. I asked them or encouraged them to reach out to you because they are very knowledgeable on what work needs to be done. And hopefully they'll reach out to you and maybe have some input that you understand from their perspective what is needed in your individual community. So, they are the ones actually every day doing the work, so.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Carly. So next thing we have is our regional partners. I know we got a few, I'll have to stay and make sure I didn't miss any. I didn't see Jill or Angela here, is that correct?
They are not in right now.
I did see Boyd Barker. Mr. Barker, you got any updates on Department of Ag?
Yeah, I'll just give you a quick update. The Department of Agriculture got about $50 million from the federal government, part of that COVID response money and stuff like that. And we divided that into 3 application periods. I think I emailed all the mayors that I serve about that. But it was called the Forestry, Agriculture, and Rural Markets Program. The acronym would be FARM, and I sent you some information on that. But anyway, we got 259 applications requesting $107 million, which is a lot more money than we got. We allocated $20 million, $18 million were awarded to 20 businesses recently, and we had 3, I think, in the Cumberland district. We had a nursery down in Warren County, Hilton Hines, had a logger in Clay County, Joseph Burks, had a meat processor up in White County, underground slaughter. That was 18 million divided between 20 businesses, so that averaged out right at $900,000 each. So there's a little variation of that. There'll be another round. Like I say, there were 200. Let's see, how many applications were there? There were a lot of applications that were not awarded the grant, and of course, it made a lot of people unhappy. It made 20 very happy, made several more very unhappy. But if you have someone in your county that submitted the application that were not funded, we'll have another round in the fall, another round in the spring of '24. So tell them not to be discouraged, just reapply again, and hopefully they'll get funded on the second or third rounds.
Good deal. Thank you. Next, I've got Taylor Belcher. Taylor, you got any updates from TVA?
Hey, no real updates. Y'all probably heard me say that some of your community strategies. Go live launch date coming up mid-July for the TVA sites. The new platform that we'll be using in TVA sites is it's a publicly viewed website where communities can list their industrial properties, their marketing to try and improve new industry. So when that new platform goes live, if you see a piece of property that needs to be updated in your community, or if you need properties to be added or removed, just feel free to give me a call.
Thank you, Taylor. Next, I've got Amanda Sexton from Tennessee Central.
No updates. I'm kind of moving myself. I'm about 3 weeks in the position, so nice to see everybody.
Good to have you here. Next I got Jimmy Spurlock. Is that what you got, Jimmy Spurlock? Spurlock? You respond?
Jenny wants me to speak for both of them.
Gotcha.
I don't have a problem, I just have a big mouth. I'm with Senator Bill Haggerty's office, Jenny is with Congressman Diane Black's office, we have the same John, thank you. Congressman John Rose's office. We have the same job, we serve the same purpose, we help people with passports. It's actually, I hate to say this out loud, I think it's, the rush is actually getting a little better. No, I did say that out loud, Jim. It'll be okay. We also, with all the talk about businesses, international businesses and companies, we also help people with immigration issues, businesses that are trying to bring employees over. We can help with those immigration issues. Beyond that, we are boots on the ground in the community. Jenny and I go to the Upper Cumberland Human Trafficking and Drug and Danger Child Coalition meetings. We go to the County Health Council meetings. We go to the Anti-Drug Coalition meetings. If there is a meeting that one of us is not present at, it's a miracle. Sometimes I'm triple and quadruple booked. Tanner goes for me. He's bonding that day. So we are busy working in the community, working to help the same people you are serving, and we appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, Ms. Klein. Well said. Tanner?
Yeah, good to be here this morning. Tanner Cox, also with Senator Bill Haggerty's office. DC right now, we've just got a lot of immigration legislation going on. Continuing to work on Farm Bill, getting into a recess period, so we're going to get to do some state travel. We've done a lot of travel in the Upper Cumberland this year. We've done a lot of our counties up here. Next week, we're going to get to attend the UT standalone ER opening in Fitchers County. Very excited about that, as I know Mayor Johnson is as well. So we're going to do a lot of state travel. You guys know where I'm at if you need to.
Thank you, Tanner. I'm excited about Jimmy's. Yeah, that's good stuff. With Senator Blackburn's office. Blake Neely.
Everyone, Blake Neely, Senator Blackburn's office. We're also in DC right now. Currently, we're dealing a lot with regulation of AI, artificial intelligence, and stuff along that road and everything, but DC's been a little busy. Senator has been getting around the state a little bit. We were in Cookeville a couple of weeks ago, had a good meeting with Mayor Wheaton and others across the county. Now she will be coming to Overton and some of the other northern counties next week, so we're excited about that. But as August gets here, we'll be around the state a lot more, as well as them get an August recess. But just want to reiterate with the casework side that if anybody has a passport, please make sure that it's not about to expire, because I keep getting told our caseworkers that our number one thing is passports right now. We have several hundred cases that are just passports. But if y'all need anything, you know where to find me. Let us know if you have any questions. Thank y'all.
I'm gonna go. No, you. Thanks, Blake. Next would be Sonia Rimmer. You got any updates, Miss Sonia?
I'll start it off.
Thank you. That was easy. Miss Angela walked in. Angela Ricketto.
Yes, sorry for being late, good morning. Just a reminder to everybody, the Governor's Convention is gonna be September the 18th and 19th. It's gonna be in Chattanooga this year. Excited kind of about a change of scenery, so that'll be fun. And also, if any of the mayors or anyone in your community starting to revisit existing industries, Jill and I are available, to go with you and talk with them about the different programs we have, at this stage. So thank you. See you all.
What is PEX? What is PEX?
Oh, Upper Cumberland Development Summit is August the 3rd.
Yes.
And, we're excited it's coming together. I think we're gonna be focusing on tourism, workforce, and, economic development. So I think, Commissioner McWhorter, Commissioner Thomas with the Department of Labor, and Commissioner Ezell will all three be there in the afternoon, kind of a power panel to kind of talk about economic development. So we're excited about it. Thank you, Mark.
Is that link been put out for registration? Because I haven't seen
A save the date, Jill sent a save the date out
I
to
got
all
that.
of our distribution list. If you get it for the RFIs that come out, you should have seen, did you get it?
I got the link, yeah.
it.
Okay.
I have not got the registration
Okay,
link.
we'll see.
I did get the save the date flyer, but I haven't got the registration link. If I have, I'll do it.
It's okay.
I'll
We'll get you
look
another
and
one.
kick it out or something.
That's all right, we'll send you another one, so, we're excited about it, looks like it's gonna be a good session this year. Thanks for reminding me, Mark.
Very good. We keep him around for a reason, right? Next thing, thank you, all your regional partners. Next thing we need to do is do old business. Do we have any old business today? What about new business?
Mr. Farley, bylaws and conflict of interest, would you like to?
That's on the next.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You're
You're one agenda ahead of us, but it's all
Oh,
good.
okay, okay.
It's all right, Jordan. Mr. Rader, you got anything for us today?
No news is good news for me.
All right.
Worried about my passport expiring.
That seems to be a problem with all of us, right? Some of us. Thank you. Public comments, we have to have public comments. All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Wait,
Mr.
how many?
Farley, our two new ones in planning and community development.
Yeah, go ahead and introduce.
Yeah, so, just want to let everybody know that we have two new employees in the planning and community development department, Megan Reagan and Jessica Duke. If you have not met them yet, they are here in the back. Way for everybody. Thank you, ladies. And so we're excited to have them on board. Just wanted to introduce you guys.
Yeah, I want to make sure that you add something to the application. What your plans for the future of leaving the DD. We need to know that, you know. We talked to Aaron yesterday and congratulations, Aaron. That's huge. Been nice getting to know you for a short period of time. We wish you the best. I'm just aggravating you. Entertain a motion to adjourn, Mayor Jones. Second?
Yep.
Jimmy Johnson, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, hope not. Do we need a quick?